Hello. Speaker.
Hello.
Namaskar, hello and welcome to this day two of World Education Forum 2026. I would request all the young students who have joined in to please be on mute. We will take you whenever you have questions out here. This third edition of World Education Forum from the Ages of Rethink India, it talks about making sense of the emergent world order. As we all see that a lot of transitions and transformations are happening at a very, very fast pace, which I think even the mainstream academia, even the educational institutions leave them aside, even the administrative directions, the strategic think tanks, they are finding it very, very tough to cope up with. So we at Rethink India felt like what are those some of those instruments, some of those techniques and tactics by which we can really prepare in a structured fashion through the instrument of academia that this emergent world order, which is becoming really volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, we touched upon this VUCA factor in the maiden edition yesterday, and where we laid emphasis as to how tuning yourself to news for education, which we call it as edu news, can really help you make sense of the emergent world order. What's happening, if we can know about it, if we can analyze it, so we can link the past happenings with the future of the world, and that is what news is all about. And it's a very technical domain whereby the entire schooling architecture has to be re-engineered, whereby teachers have to really motivate the students to really pick up newspaper readings and picking up some of the authoritative news sources. Maybe it is online, offline, or uh, broadcast media. We talked at length about it. So today's focus is on, for those, I will move you out if you will unmute yourself again. I'm muting you. Please be muted. Please be in discipline mode, right? So today's focus is on films for education. So we all watch films for entertainment, and now today the implosion of OTT platforms, from the Netflixes of the world to the Geo Hotstar. Hotstar has taken a lot of transition from various ownerships, from being Star Hotstar to Disney Hotstar to now Geo Hotstar. It has been purchased by India's mobile company, and almost every telecom company, if you see, so all their prepaid plans largely they come bundled with one or the other subscriptions of one or the other of OTT platforms. So there are at least a dozen of them, three or four of them are predominant ones, some very specialized ones like Curiosity Stream, Discovery Plus, which are on the scientific and adventure parlance. So days of those broadcast television are almost over. Now video on demand has taken over, and we at Rethink India we feel that this entire gamut constitutes edu-films, whether it is a documentary, whether it is a docu-series, whether it is a film, 1 hour, 2 hour, 2.5, 3 hours kind of a film, the movie, the classical movie which we used to watch in the movie theaters and all. And more than that, it has come the web series, a new version of it all, where serials have come, like in seasons we used to watch for years and years together. Now in a stretch, if you have got time, so you can do binge watching. You can really fill yourself if you have got 3 days of holidays. So you can just watch a particular web series in a go, because technology enables the streaming of that content anywhere on the planet. So if you have gone on a vacation, or if your school vacations are out there, so uh, how to watch is a different matter. But what we would like to emphasize upon, the first and the foremost objective of films as a medium of education. You see that textbooks are textual in nature. We have long text. Yes, some images are there, some graphics are there, some cartoons, colorful books. NCRT has come up with very nice books to make learning very engaging, for that matter. But it is a print version. The print has the similar digital version, that the book what you read can be read on a screen as well. But beyond that, the motion picture, what we call about it, which has sound, light effect, and which covers the real life phenomena. It can capture a particular geocultural locale. It brings in the power of theater, drama. Like if you have to, we are having the birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose, a biopic movie. So if you have to know about Subhash Chandra Bose, one is you go and read a bulky book about Subhash Chandra Bose, or you may just go out and there are half a dozen kind of a very quality films on Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and whose birth anniversary would be on 23rd of this month, January, which is now commemorated as the Parakram Divas. So you can have now that is a kind of a artistic depiction of a person's life. So that is one genre of films. But there, how he used to wear, some character, some cast would come. He will try to narrate the dialogues, the drama. So it is quite very engaging to know about a person. Very easily we can assimilate a whole lot of a first level of, I can say, an understanding, a layman's understanding, level zero understanding, we can say so, from a biopic film. For example, we might not be able to travel. Even the most resourceful person on the planet cannot just roam across the world, but you can watch documentaries on, say, Germany, on Japan, their history, their geography. Very beautiful documentaries have come across. So documentaries happen to be a very, very strong mode of learning about a particular culture, particular scientific phenomena. The mission to Mars, like there is a fictional movie, Mission to Mangal, and there might be a docu series on how Mars expeditions have to be done. So the instrument of films is very, very, very engaging, and that's where it comes as a very important tool in the order of futuristic learning, कि हम लोग फिल्म्स का प्रयोग करके, फिल्म्स को हम यूज करके हम लोग we can make our learnings. Dr. Surbi, your opening comments on films for education, your personal experiences, I think that's what will make it interesting going forward. Yeah. So, good evening, all. And when we talk about edufilms, the entire learning paradigm, what emanates from the learning from films is so vast, so interesting, so exciting. Films expose us to an entire arena of life vistas, wherein we learn human relationships, behavioral patterns, dressing styles, cultures, global civilizational ethos, geopolitical strings or threads, and so on and so forth. If you take any theme, say for example, if you are studying space, there is a movie called Interstellar. How it takes you to the entire journey of a father and daughter relationship, of the space, of the how the entire aeronautic space journey is treaded. It's a universe in itself. There's so many vistas of learning from edu films. I mean, to quote a few examples, say for example, we had convened an edu films contest for the film Manikarnika, the Rani Jhansi Manikarnika, which was based around Rani Lakshmi Bai. How many facets of learning the edu films really entails, is something which the order of futuristic learning wishes to enunciate. तो इसको एक चरण और आगे बढ़ाते हुए फिल्म्स का जो माध्यम है, सबसे पहले तो इसकी जो पोजीशनिंग है हमारे समाज में, इन आवर फैमिलीज, if you are watching something, we at Rethink India feel that यू कैन लर्न फ्रॉम एनीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग। आप कोई भी पिक्चर उठा के देख लो, और अगर आप इस एडू फिल्म्स के डिसिप्लिन में आप निष्णात हो, इफ यू आर एडरॉइट इन हाउ टू एक्सट्रैक्ट लर्निंग फ्रॉम एनी फिल्म फॉर दैट मैटर, yes, it has to be age specific suitability. That is of the certification board. It prescribes that we don't want our young learners to watch extreme violence and extreme adult kind of a content. But at their level, तो आप if you are adroit in that discipline, you can learn from anything or everywhere. So वे पहली बात ये है कि फिल्म से हम बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हैं और हमें सीखना चाहिए। इनफैक्ट हमारी पढ़ाई केवल वो 5 या 6 घंटे के स्कूलों तक सीमित नहीं है, वो पाठ्य पुस्तिका तक सीमित नहीं है। हम जो कुछ करते हैं पूरे दिन भर, उसमें हम सीखते ही हैं। बस ये हमें कोई दिखा दे कि भाई आप इस समय इस माध्यम से सीख रहे हो, इस तरीके से सीख रहे हो। सो फिल्म्स, what happens is, we say we learn a lot by hearing and by reading. These are two modes, largely our ears and eyes. फिल्म्स का जो ऑब्जेक्ट है, देयर ऑब्जर्वेशन इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इफ यू सी टेक्निकली व्हाट इज अ फिल्म, इट इज स्टैटिक फ्रेम्स विच कीप ऑन मूविंग एट अ फ्रेम रेट। आप कार्टून्स देखते हैं तो वो स्टिल इमेजेस हैं और दे मूव एट अ फास्ट पेस। दैट इज व्हाट द टेक्निकल गेम इज ऑल अबाउट। इट हैज म्यूजिक behind sound. So these two sensory organs get activated while we watch something. अब उसमें द पेस एट विच इट इज वॉचिंग, इट इज समथिंग विच इज इंपॉर्टेंट। आप देखेंगे कि कुछ फिल्म्स में कहते हैं स्ट्रोब इफेक्ट है, विजुअल लाइटिंग इफेक्ट्स आर वेरी इंटेंस, विच आर नॉट कंड्यूसिव फॉर सम स्टूडेंट्स, सम पीपल, फॉर सम दे आर। बट फिल्म्स में हमको बहुत कुछ जो बैकड्रॉप है, देर इज अ प्लॉट बट देर इज अ बैकड्रॉप। अगर आप कोई फिक्शनल मूवी, एक एंटरटेनिंग मूवी देखते हैं, so there is a lot of lot of drama, lot of artistic imagery, lot of dialogues। सामान्य भाषा नहीं है, they use a language which attracts and appeals, because it is a display of the human emotions or emotions across. Now you go back to your language teacher, whatever language you talk about it, the literary part of it all, when it gets enacted in a play format, in a theatrical format, we call it. So that is what gives the power to the films. Even the documentaries, if you see, they have a narrator who explains things from the backdrop. A very calm, soothing voice is going on, and you have different still pictures or different videos going on which are correlated. So our sensory organs back in the brain start making very strong connections depending on that. And if you really want to learn from the films, you have to be extremely conscious and concentrated, because things move at a very very fast pace. In a classroom, when a teacher is explaining on a still blackboard or a smart board these days, or a PowerPoint presentation, this the teacher has a feedback mechanism. The teacher sees, oh, Tarun, you are not getting hang of it. Ramya, you are not. Oh, you are understanding. So it's a two-way communication. But in a film, it's a one-way broadcast. So the onus is on the watcher, the viewer, that are you viewing it consciously? Now that is the core condition to make films for education. Because if you can't retain what you just watched for 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, it it is a it might be entertaining, you might be doing a time pass for that matter, but you might not be learning so much. So a 15-minute video, if you really watch it very very consciously, I think it encapsulates almost a very thick book for that matter. So, because what happens is there's a backdrop, there's a lot of imagery out there in the films. So, if you can observe the imagery in any fictional, you even watch a James Bond kind of a movie for that matter, right? The jazz, the fights, the all kind of I would say sensation out there. But what dresses he's wearing, the character, the protagonist, what kind of daring he is. You can be one with that character. So a lot of human emotions, a lot of inspirations can be also gathered apart from the general knowledge of it all. But the inspiration part comes so very naturally through the modus of films. Some film is shot, suppose in the Swiss Alps, and as we told earlier that World Education Forum is inspired from the World Economic Forum, which happens in almost the third week of January. So we at Rethink India felt that education is the encumbrance of all economic development, and in the Indic context, we felt like why not have a World Education Forum on almost those days at which the World Economic Forum gets convened in Davos, Switzerland. So you get to see a lot of foreign locales. You might not afford both in terms of finance or even in terms of time. And even if you go in a particular locale, you might not have the energy to really absorb all the locales of that region. But sitting back, if you make a kind of a syllabus for yourself, okay, I'm watching this, and what I'm learning out of it, you can have a random watching, you can have a structured watching. Today, no formal curriculum is out there. Ideally, the teachers can suggest, okay, this topic, you can watch a lot of videos, but those videos are instructive in nature. But we suggest that if you, the general watching of films, which happens, it really exponentiates your learning curve, your experience if you watch it. If you watch it consciously, Dr. Surbi, would you like to add upon? Like, there are, for example, if you want to become a doctor, if you are a grade 12 or even a whatever grade you are in, and you want to see doctors करते क्या हैं, सो दे माइट बी पीपल इन योर फैमिली, दे माइट बी बिजी, वो लोग इतना भी नहीं बता पाएंगे, आप उनके ऑपरेशन थिएटर में नहीं जा सकते हो, इतना डाइवर्स एक फील्ड है. सो मे बी यू माइट से कि ओके लेट मी वॉच डॉक्टर हाउस, सपोज दैट्स अ वेब सीरीज on very many OTT platforms. Now, I'm just giving you a case study on that. Now, Dr. House is a uh, very genius mind, but then, like all geniuses, he's quite abnormal kind of personality who doesn't mingle with people. He has his own shenanigans. उनके अपने रंग ढंग हैं. But then the core precept, if you will see in that web series, is that he is extremely empathetic towards his patients. He pursues the diagnostics, that is his core component. He's not very much interested in surgery, but he's a diagnostician. So he goes to the extent of invading the privacy of his patients to find out the environmental factors, the history of it all. Because even in the medical parlance, they say that history, the medical history, brings about almost everything about a disease. So very true, Raghav. So like, medical fiction series and medical series like Good Doctor, Doctor House, Grey's Anatomy, and so on and so forth. There we have some Hindi versions also like Human, Sanjeevani, and all. So when you watch these films, these medical films or inspirational movies, a lot of insights into the profession, into the entire stream of the medical profession, of the medical sciences get revealed, and some practical insights, nuances, you understand, you learn what you would not acquire that knowledge or wisdom through even reading books or talking to some peers or seniors. So self learning, you can say this is a kind of a self learning tool or manual to embark you on a journey of further development and developing your own opinion, developing your own understanding of the life ahead, which is so full of VUCA and uncertainty. VUCA is in volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. But if you break it into your through your understanding, through your knowledge, through your wisdom, you can achieve स्थिरता. तो जैसे डॉक्टर सुरभि ने कहा, हमने मेडिकल स्पेस से एक ज्ञान लिया, बिकॉज दिस इज लार्जली फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स की हाउ कैन यू यूटिलाइज फिल्म्स टू फर्दर एनरिच योर लर्निंग, मेक इट रियली एंगेजिंग. तो चाहे वो मेडिकल का फील्ड हो, चाहे वो इंजीनियरिंग का फील्ड हो, you might become an armed force professional, aspire to be an air force pilot. तो आप सोचोगे कि चलो गुंजन शर्मा देखते हैं। तो गुंजन शर्मा इन अ वे इट्स अ ड्रामा। गुंजन सक्सेना, सॉरी, द कारगिल हेलीकॉप्टर पायलट ओवर देयर। So you get to learn apart from the music, dance, drama, the entertainment part of it all is fine. But then every film, every motion picture, the popular picture also has got a lot of learning if we just reflect upon it. So one thing is very very important ki what the message which we wish to give from the World Education Forum is that the film should not be seen as a taboo. Now, why it is a taboo, I will just come to that and how to handle those parts of it all. See, after a while, that's why we say post primary onwards, films can really become. Childrens are growing now. What happens is extreme violence is something which needs to be avoided. All kind of certifications which are all kind of certifications are given out there, so parents and teachers and society at large says that okay, the children should not grow faster than their age, they should not watch adult content. But yes, the schools have now sex education out there. After a while the girls gain puberty after 10 or 12 years, so somewhere or the other it can be a proctored watching. See, everywhere it has to be a kind of a discipline, a kind of a self discipline. Okay, this is not your age to indulge, because a lot of content which is harmful out there. But then what we can say, so that the majority of the content, if it can be filtered, a kind of a consensus can be made in the family, in the classroom, with the teachers, an open kind of a thing. Don't watch anything which you want to hide it from your parents for that matter. So on that part, I think the family, the school, the friends, we can all kind of create a kind of a consensus depending on the societal sensibilities. But films as a medium, we all have watched inadvertently. So let us accept that. And after accepting that, let's create a plan. Okay, I have my school textbooks to study. I have to do my numericals. So if, for example, I give you The Young Sheldon, it's a very lovely web series of a young genius out there who is a very tender age. He has a phenomenal inquisitiveness to learn, to experiment upon. A beautiful drama unfolds. So, friends, there are portals like IMDb, which tells you about the cast, the crew, the storyline. Even some of the portals, they give you the whole dialogues, everything out there, because film production, as we all know, generally the mainstream newspapers and all, they say, oh, this film crossed the box office with so many crores. The Dhurandhar movie came in first week. So these are fine. Those are commercial considerations for the people who are into the business of filmmaking or promotion and all. But if we see a piece of a film, we are not using the term video specifically because filmmaking is a very involved kind of an art. It's an evolution of a theater. Theater is something which plays. हम लोग classes में, schools में we do plays for that matter. We enact something. The literature goes into enactment. Shakuntalam, or the Julius Caesar, all kind of English or whatever our regional language plays, whatever comes through. So one is the film embodies human emotions in a big way. So which emotion we reverberate with, like a film Iqbal, we want to see the motivational movies, say Chak De, how a failed coach. So the focus has to be कि भाई what all we are learning, the macros of it all. Yes, we have to watch it all, but the central storyline and beyond the storyline, the central thematic of it all. Ki what is the take home message? So that is one core thing. Then there are gory details. Any film you take up, I think you can fill up a good copy, a good notebook. If you start writing it across, it's a reverse examination paper. Dr. Surbi will tell that when she used to appear in her PMD examinations, her coaches used to say, ki, bhai, which all questions came, you write it down back home. So if we watch the films consciously, our observation skills can be refined like anything. It's a self driven trivia. What all you watched, what all you observed, what all you sensed. So it's like challenging your entire being into it. intellectually and emotionally. So conscious watching, that is the mode and manner. And then at Rethink India, obviously we are developing some frameworks into which you can encapsulate any of the films you watched, so that it's a kind of a template. You can present it to your parents, you can present it to your teachers. Okay, if I invested say 3 to 4 hours or 2 hours into film watching, this is what is the outcome of my time. So it is not a wasteful time. You can always justify to your parents, okay, this is what I have learned. So that frameworks, that's a order of futuristic learning which is being evolved. Now coming to what to watch, what we feel is that a lot of independence has to be given to the learners, but with a bit of help. Okay, some documentaries. Now documentaries can be historic, they can be scientific, they can be interviews with certain great people. Uh, so, uh, so, uh, so that is one. Then fictional films, because they dramatize a lot of complex aspect. For example, the Schopenheimer movie which has just come on the first atomic bomb. Now, the entire story is so very touching, that how much of history and science and technology you get to learn in one go. Oppenheimer, sorry. So the US Nevada deserts are shown out there, and when the flash of the first atom bomb came, no, none of us can really watch the atom bomb explosions in our real life. It's almost next to impossible. Even if we become some of the best scientists across for the sake of safety. Now, it might not be possible, but in a fictional film, that is what how the tunnels are created, how the a lot of science comes over there, and we can then build upon top of it. So selection of content is something which can again come through with parents, with teachers, a kind of a learning compact, your learning community. तो आप लोग समय व्यर्थ नहीं कर रहे हो मूवीज वॉच करके, ये जो स्टीरियोटाइप है, बट ओनली व्हेन इट इज डायरेक्टेड टुवर्ड्स अ पर्पस. फॉर एग्जांपल देयर इज अ लवली वेब सीरीज कॉल्ड तेनाली रामा. No, that's a 800 odd episodes. The wit, the humor of that court jester, the great Tenali Rama, how he solves the various problems. So you learn a lot of language over there. You learn a lot of history out there. Say like Akbar Birbal for that matter. So with the various stages, in addition to the books, I think films are a dominant medium which can really come and help us to really pep up, to cheer up the higher, I would say, learning curve. I think a lot of young friends are out here. आप लोगों की कुछ क्वेश्चंस हो, यू वांट टू आस्क, यू वांट टू कमेंट अपॉन, क्या क्या फिल्म आप देखते हो? फिरदौस, आप अनम्यूट हो तो आप क्या देखते हो, क्या देखना पसंद करते हो, और आपके घर पर लोग क्या कहते हैं? क्या फिल्म देख रहे हो, समय व्यर्थ कर रहे हो, या कुछ सीख रहे हो? क्या बोलना चाहोगे आप? बोलिए. I think they're not. Firdaus, would you like to say something? Any questions? Any comments?
No, miss.
Okay, okay. Which school you are from?
ARPS.
ARPS where?
ARPS Public School, Mezifema.
Pardon? Where is this school located?
ARPS Public School, High Mezifema.
ARPS Public School High Mezifema in
Okay, okay,
Nagaland.
fair enough, fair enough. So we understand it. So it was primarily for the teachers to really take on this tool of EduFilms as an instrument of it all, and then pass it on to the students at large. Because the largest social taboo around films is a time waste as only for entertainment, not for edutainment. And I would say कि eclectic and exponentiating the educational experiences can really be done by the tool of EduFilms, if some very serious narrative has to be built upon. And there are a lot of platforms which use films as a substantive mode of education. Ruxul, would you like to add upon something more? Yes, so also would like to add in that edufilms can be really utilized as a team building exercise. Very often institutions, schools,
even MBA colleges for that matter, take the students out for a proctored movie watching, and say, for example, when I was in my school time in class 8th, so we were at school in the boarding system. They took us to watch a movie called Gumrah. Now, this is a movie, which is based around the actress is Sri Devi, of course, and she's a young girl and she embarks on a foreign journey. She travels on through a flight from India to the different country, and then she gets trapped in a drug trafficking, kind of a conspiracy, and how she's rescued and how she makes her way, fights through the entire, you know travesty, the entire ordeal, and how she emerges victorious out of it. So, as young girls, this was an important learning, for us as a team building exercise as well, that how important it is to be wary, to watch out, to not trust strangers when you are traveling alone. And so many other points of learning were there from the movie. So, it's very important that when you're watching some content or some movie, you know very clearly from the start what that you're going to acquire some learning, that that जिसे कहते हैं ना अर्जुन की आंख की तरह, कि your focus should be very much there, that of course the songs, the beautiful music, everything is there, but your lakshya, your goal should be to take that inspiration, to take that motivation, to take that message, that okay, I have to build my personality, my persona, my thought, my learning, my understanding, my wisdom. So that is a very profound learning from films.
We would just like to sum up today's session over there. Ki why to watch films, why to use films as a medium for education is the first and the foremost. I think the debate out there with the kind of implosion of OTT platforms, each one of you would be having your mobile phones, you would have been some kind of subscription to some OTT platforms. There are a lot of free content also available. So why to watch films? Why to transform, like the film Hitchki for that matter? The very protagonist, the teacher, she did not. It's a big emotional drama that she was given the underprivileged students in a school who were just considered okay. हमें तो ये because of the
Tourette syndrome she
yeah,
had, yeah.
the teacher had a Tourette syndrome. So the drama was whole unfold over there. एक फिल्म जो है वो एक बड़ी महाभारत की तरह, इट्स अ बंडल ऑफ बुक्स. सो उसके जो सीन्स हैं, उसके जो कथानक हैं, इफ यू रियली गो आउट ओवर देयर, तो पहली चीज है कि वी हैव टू एक्सेप्ट दैट फिल्म्स आर अ वेरी वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग मीडियम ऑफ learning going forward. And because the kind of आप जहाँ भी रह रहे, you can't travel so much, that's not humanly possible. In the COVID times everyone was just holed up, it was technically not possible to go out and observe the wild weird world. But the medium of films, you can go watch the Himalayas for that matter, you can see the Tibets, you can just learn anything or everything under the sun by, if you're a self learner for that matter. So one, that taboo has to go out, but then it has to be a responsible film watching. So for responsibility, obviously a compact of trust has to come. So uske liye how to watch, the process of it all. Now once why is done, how to watch, as Dr. Surbi also said, that it has to be a conscious watching. It has to be I think as we also said that some frameworks have to be given कि फिल्म का टाइटल क्या था, एक बैक एंड मेटा इंफॉर्मेशन इज देयर, कास्ट एंड क्रू की बातें हैं. बट देन व्हाट इज द कोर थिंग, व्हाट मैटर्स इज द स्टोरी लाइन, द कैरेक्टर्स, किस कैरेक्टर ने आपके चित्त पर छाप छोड़ी. दिस इज फॉर द इमोशनल पार्ट ऑफ इट ऑल. एंड व्हाट ऑल यू लर्नड, कौन से ऐसे डायलॉग्स थे, कैसे ऐसे संबोधन थे जो आपके मन पर प्रभाव छोड़ दिए. What you did not like, that is also an equally good part of it. What hurted you, what was a new learning for you. So it all happens very unconsciously, but with a conscious watching, not just a passive viewing. You are getting programmed like the television serials, TVCs, television commercials. They try to imbibe a kind of a neurological aspect out of you, but you have to be a conscious watcher. Like you are reading a book, you are watching a film, as if you have to write an examination out of it. And finally, what to watch. So huge repository of content, and as always, there is something which goes above the head, some classical kind of films which are out there, and a lot of vulgarity, violent, that needs to be avoided at all costs. It should be safe watching. So these three things, I think, it can be discussed amongst peers, parents. You can ask your father, Papa, आप मुझे आज फिल्म बताइए. There has to be a family watching hour. There has to be an individually watching hour. Whatever time we are really spending, let's watch and let's learn. और फिर उसके बाद जो डिस्कशन हम लोग करते हैं, okay, we watched this, अच्छा, what element you liked it, commenting upon various scenes, various the tribulations, the traumas, all kind of things. So between your parents and teachers and friends, peers, if we can say so, a kind of a consensus can come ki what to watch. But if you are armed with how to watch, and then why to watch, we have explained it in a phenomenal way. So we would be giving tools and techniques this year, 2026. Rethink India has committed itself to present it all across to our young learners in a very involved kind of a program. So I think we give a lot of analysis, we give a lot of excerpts from various domains, various films we quoted, thousands and thousands of films are out there. Platforms like IMDb, you can have your own accounts on. It's an Amazon platform where you can search the films, the metadata about films, kisne banaya. That's again a different dimension altogether. So in expression, as they say, that creative expression, फ्यूचर का जो एक्सप्रेशन होने वाला है वो जैसे ग्राफिकल है, तो फिल्म्स इज अ मोड ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन. आप कैसे किसी बात को कह पाते हो, रख पाते हो. So that will all be out there. I think we are done for the day with this eduFILMS session, and tomorrow we will be touching upon the edu arts, the various arts. Arts is a universe in itself again, from simple clay forms to origami to painting to sculpting, the traditional ones, the whole spectrum, and then arts embedded with technology. If you have drawn something, you can scan it, you can export it across to your enhancement tools, you can fill up colors on the screen. So all those, photography is a basic one, then enhanced photography. So the entire spectrum of arts, because if we see modern economy, it's a creator economy which is going out there. So we'll be touching it upon in day 3 of World Education Forum. We thank you for all your patient hearing and our endeavor to make sense of the emergent world order, some of the tools and techniques apart from the conventional skills, whatever we are all learning in our educational institutions. These 5, the pentat of edu news, edu films, edu arts, edu sports, and edu excursions, I think that is something which fulfills the entire learning curve. With this, we take your leave from today's session. Namaskar.